Hi everyone and welcome to this new video. As you saw from the introduction, in this video I will be making the ball dress worn by Jennifer Jones in the 1949 MGM film Madame Bovary. The costumes were designed by Walter Plunkett. This has been on my list of dresses to make for a long time and I'm finally glad that I can bring it to you. The film of course is in black and white, but Ampas hold in their collections one of Walter Plunkett's 1970s redrawings of his earlier designs, and this is there in their collection. Unfortunately I can't show it to you because of copyright, but you can see it on their website. And there was just a bit of confusion for me as to what colour the base layers of this dress were, because he drew it in both gold and silver. So after discussing this with a few other collectors and Hollywood costume people, I've decided to go with silver because that makes more sense for his design ethic. So it's made in a silver fabric as the base layer, covered in white tulle, and then the birds are in blue. So I hope you enjoy this video and I'll see you at the end with the finished dress. I start by cutting and sewing the panels of the skirt silver layer. Here you can see me pleating the skirt onto the waistband. I do this by eye. I then sew the skirt onto the Petersham waistband. Next, I cut and sew the 5 panels of the tulle for the next layer of the skirt. The skirt has 2 layers of tulle. I put in 2 rows of threads around the waist and pull these up to gather in the waist. Here you can see me levelling the tulle layer. Next I mark where I'm going to cut the top layer of tulle to sew on the flounce. The flounce is made up of 7 circles which I cut and sew together. I then sew the flounce onto the bottom of the top layer of tulle. After this, I cut out the bodice backing fabric, which is a cotton drill. Next, I cut out the silver layer of the bodice out of the offcuts from the skirt. Finally, I cut out the 2 layers of tulle for the bodice. I mount all the bodice layers and then sew the bodice pieces together. After finishing the neck edge, I sew on the tulle drape that goes around the left hand side of the bodice. The leaf motifs I ordered from Etsy have arrived. They're paler in colour than I had wanted them, so I'm going to have to darken them somehow. And I was hoping to be able to use the stem as the stem that goes up the front of the dress, but now that I've actually seen them, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to have to think of something else to do that. To make the stem decoration, I use a bias strip. I sew it over a piping cord, which I then use to pull it through. Next, I sew the stem onto the bodice using a very small slip stitch. To darken the leaves, I use a green felt tip pen that I found at home. To make the birds, I use dragonfly Christmas decorations, which I start off by painting blue. Once the paint is dry, I then glue on the blue feathers. And here's the finished dress. I think this is probably one of my favourite things that I've made, certainly in the last year. I just love how floaty and ethereal she looks, and this design feature of using a tulle over a fabric is something that Walter Plunkett did for years and years. You see him using it in Gone with the Wind in 1939, and he's still using the same idea in Raintree County nearly 20 years later. I'd like to thank my patrons for their continued support of the channel, and if you'd like to subscribe, I'll leave a link in the description below. Or if you don't want to subscribe but still wish to donate, you can leave a super thanks in the tab below the screen. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all again very soon.